All right, welcome to Talkin Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to do our daily Bitcoin and Bitcoin miner update, but I'm calling this Crypto Crisis Day 3, although it does not feel like it. It seems like the opposite. So I want to go through why I think that and what might be going on here. Today was a monumental update in the stock market, so we're going to talk about that briefly. Then we're going to go through Bitcoin, then we're going to go through Bitcoin miners. So a lot to cover. If you're new to the channel, please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody could please smash the like button, it helps the channel out a lot. Lastly, if you want to join the channel, you can hit the join button on YouTube and become a member. Members have a bunch of members-only content that they have access to. In addition to that, we do a once-a-week members-only live stream, so we'd love to see you there. All right, let's talk about Bitcoin. First, I need to start by talking about what happened in the market today because it was semi-historic. The S&P was up 5.54%. The Dow was up 3.7%. The NASDAQ was up a staggering 7.35%. And the Russell was up 6.11%. So this was all as a function of the CPI data this morning. If you did not see what the CPI data was, you can check out the video I did on it right here this morning. So I went through that in detail. Suffice it to say that it was better than expected, and this is the results that it led to. I mean, this was some pent-up buying demand. The NASDAQ up 7.35%. They're saying that's the best day in 2 years. I don't remember a day where it was up 7.35%. That is fairly incredible. Bitcoin, meanwhile, took an unbelievably wild ride in the last 24 hours as well. So I want to update everybody on what really is still a crypto crisis, although Bitcoin was way up today. So I'm going to explain why I think that is. And let's start out by taking a look at the Bitcoin mining big board. Okay, so you're going to see this is almost completely green. The one exception is Bitfarms. Bitfarms ended the day down 1.8%. It was up a lot of the day. It trailed off all day long and it ended up in the red. So something's going on with Bitfarm. That will be for another video, but that was the only thing that ended in the red. There were a few others that were lagging on the day. HUT was only up 1%. Marathon was up about 3.8%. So that was underperforming versus the rest of the companies, but still a good day. And they had a very big day yesterday. But if we look at some of these other companies, you're going to see CleanSpark was up 9.5%. Riot was up 10.6%. So a very up day. And you're going to see that corresponds. It was a very green day in Bitcoin as well. But there still is a gigantic looming problem that it seems like everybody pressed the pause button on due to the CPI data and due to the equity markets taking off. It kind of swept the cryptocurrency world up along with it for the day. So the question I'm going to be asking is, can we build off of this momentum that we got today? Or is the situation with FTX going to circle back around and is there more pain to come? So if you've watched my videos from the last 2 days, if not, I recommend giving them a quick watch. It will explain why we are in the middle of what I'm calling a crypto crisis, and this would be day 3. And we have had significant developments since I did my video yesterday. So I want to go to this article right here. Binance confirms it's backing out of the deal to buy FTX assets. So they had signed a letter of intent to buy a large portion of FTX. I think all of the international portion of FTX, not the US portion. So what we talked about in that video yesterday, I specifically said, if for some reason this deal does not go through, if CZ pulls out of this deal or rug pulls this deal, however you want to look at it, that could cause some massive pressure to the downside. So within the last 24-hour cycle, since I made my last video, Bitcoin actually crashed quite a bit. And then obviously with this morning's CPI data had a gigantic run up. So we've really had a roller coaster ride in the last 24 hours. And I feel like I should explain both sides of it because I'm not sure which one of these forces is going to win, because the situation with FTX has actually gotten worse with Binance backing out of this deal. And we've gotten a lot more details, and it looks to be somewhere between $6 billion and $10 billion issue. So there are a lot of people that are not going to get their money back unless Sam Bankman-Fried can find some way to make a deal with somebody else and backstop this situation. But this is by far the largest situation in cryptocurrency. All of the other meltdowns that we had and exchanges that failed were much smaller than this. FTX was the one backstopping a lot of those situations, including BlockFi. So for them now to be in a situation where they're illiquid and they need to be backstopped, and not by a little bit, but by a lot, we still have a large problem lingering and looming over our heads. So I want everybody to keep in mind as we look at the chart today, I'm going to talk about the fact that Bitcoin has gone on a gigantic run to the upside, but I do think we need to be very, very cautious. This could go either way. We could be about to head into a nice relief rally, or this FTX situation could be back on the headlines tomorrow, and we have moved on past since CPI data. And in the crypto world, we could see more pain. So I'm not sure which way this is going to go. Okay, FTX founder issues public apology as company verges on collapse. So I will read this very quickly, and then I'll go look at the charts. Quote, "I'm sorry, that's the biggest thing. I effed up and should have done better," Bankman-Fried said in a lengthy Twitter thread. The FTX founder went on to say that the exchange's affiliated hedge fund, Alameda Research, would wind down trading while FTX focused on boosting liquidity, every penny, quote, of which would go to helping make customers and investors whole, he said. Alameda is at the heart of Bankman-Fried's crypto empire, and questions about its financial stability kicked off a flurry of withdrawals over the weekend. On Sunday alone, Bankman-Fried said FTX was hit with $5 billion in withdrawals. So this is the run on the bank scenario that I've been talking about the last 2 days. So now we know, just on Sunday, it was $5 billion. This all occurred off of a tweet from CZ, the CEO of Binance, saying he was going to sell all of the FTT tokens, which is the native token, to FTX. So essentially, that was the first domino in what unraveled in an unbelievable rapid speed. Within 24 to 48 hours, FTX went from perfectly fine to a full-blown run on the bank, and now they're on the verge of being out of business, and they're completely illiquid. They crossed funds and they used customer funds, and they loaned them to Alameda Research, and now they found themselves in a situation where Alameda Research took some risky bets. They cannot fund these withdrawal requests. Okay, having said all that, I'm going to put that on pause. So before I go through some positive price targets and look at the good news that we had on Bitcoin today, I did want to say that this story has progressed and it has not gotten better, it's gotten worse. Okay, let me start on the 15-minute time frame. So this is Bitcoin on the 15-minute time frame. As always, there is an orange line from where Bitcoin was when the equity markets closed yesterday. So Bitcoin was at around $16,200. It did get as low as somewhere around $15,500. When I made my video yesterday, we were trading somewhere in this area. So this is where I said, we were already well under our previous all-time low, which was around 17,500. So we were at around 16,900. And that's where I talked about if Binance pulls the rug out from under this deal, we could see another giant move down. And if you take a look, from that point, we actually moved down about another 8.5 or 9%. So that was a big move down. However, from the low last night until the close today, we were up 16.26%. And from where Bitcoin was when the equity markets closed yesterday until where it was when the equity markets closed today, we were up 11%. So either way that you move that, it was a gigantic move upwards for Bitcoin. So all the cryptocurrencies acted accordingly. Yesterday, we looked at the fact that basically the entire crypto universe crashed. Today, it had a big recovery, and Bitcoin was a part of that. And you can see for the most part, the Bitcoin miners were a part of that as well. There were a few that lagged behind. And also, really, I believe if you look at it from this perspective, with Bitcoin up 11% day over day, even the moves that we saw on the Bitcoin miners were really very small. They were downsized versus what they should have been on a day where Bitcoin was up 11%. The NASDAQ was up 7.5%. Typically in the past, this would have been a day where we would have seen 20 to 25% increases across the board, if not more on some of the small stocks. This had a chance at being one of the biggest green days for the Bitcoin miners of all time, or at least since the big runs we were having. The good performers were up 10 or 11%, which is only on par with what Bitcoin is up. And these miners are a leveraged play. They should be moving at much greater speeds than Bitcoin. They're also small cap, high growth stocks, which were on fire today and vastly outpaced the market itself in all the other sectors. So I think that this is the struggle here. We've got this FTX situation kind of weighing down what would have probably been an even much bigger rally. Having said that, this was a huge rally, and it got us above a very important line that I'm going to talk about. This red line at 17,567. This was where we flash crashed down to in June of 2022. So this was the low in the summer of 2022. That took out 2021's low. So that's really a 2-year low. Well, yesterday, for the very first time, we took this line out. I've moved over to the 4-hour time frame so that we can see this better. You can see these are 4-hour candles. Yesterday, we tested this line once and passed, and then we failed. And we went below, and we went way below. And remember, these two red candles came after CZ basically pulled out of his deal to bail out FTX. With the last 3 in a row green candles, we had a gigantic green candle this morning, and then a 4-hour candle where we were a little sideways, and now this candle is very green, and significantly, all 3 of these have gone above this line at 17,500-ish. We're currently at around $17,840, so we're well above that. So to me, if we can hold that line and create that as a line of support, that was our flash crash low. This is the only period that we've been under it ever. Right here was in this FTX situation where we crashed down to here, and already we've returned the very next day back above this line. So if we can make that a one-day, one-off experience, there's a possibility we can set up support here and head back upwards and maybe have a rally. But like I said, we do have the FTX situation looming over us. So I don't know. This was a very big pullback in a very short period of time. So that may be priced in at this point, or it may not be. I'm not sure. The bottom line is what we've experienced is a gigantic V, and that's V for volatility, because this is one day. We did all this down and then all this back up. So that leaves us in a position where I'm going to say, I don't know. Obviously, I've been calling for a rally forever. If we can hold this line at 17,567, again, that was the flash crash, then really what that means is we only had one daily candle close below our previous all-time low. So if the very next daily candle can close above that and we can stay above that, then maybe that's a rally point and we have some room to the upside, because this was the day, CPI is the day that I've been talking about for the last month. This was the last thing. The election's over, the Fed meeting's over, the CPI data's been released. It's better than expected. We now have about 3.5 weeks where we're not going to get any gigantic data points. So that was when I was hoping we could run. Now, in the middle of this, we've run into a very large exchange becoming illiquid, so we're going to have to see, is that going to stop the run up, or can we have a rally in spite of that? So I'm going to leave you guys with that thought. I don't know what the answer to that is. Obviously, be careful investing. This is not financial advice. So if you made it this far, remember to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.